Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder's Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Hager. This is their part number 3902. This is a mortise cylinder housing. Here's what it looks like. The 3902 is a large format interchangeable core. This is ready to receive a Schlage 23030 or something like that, meaning the keyway will be like that. This is going to include, it has attached a standard cam on the back. It also included a loose Adams Wright style cam or Mac or MS cam. This is, because it's large format, it's going to be about 1 3/8 or 1.5 inches. Underside of the head to the back of the cam, right on, it's 1.5 inches, and that would be typical. This is going to have a thin head to it. This is going to be a typical 1 5/32 diameter with 32 threads per inch. Okay. This client also happened to order what some people would call the beaver tail cam. We would just call that a Schlage cam. So this client's bought a Hager mortise cylinder housing, probably to stick a Schlage cylinder into a Schlage lock. Why they didn't order the original from Schlage, I don't know. It seems like they may have spent more money adding the cam to it as well. Hard to say why. Could be that they like that trim head. This is going to be a thinner head to a certain degree, or that profile of head that might be better, or the outside diameter of the head may be what they had in mind. Okay, we know that it's large format, what Schlage calls full size, because these lobes are not the same. Large format will have a smaller lobe at the top than it does at the bottom. A hallmark of two lobes that are the same diameter would be small format or best compatible. Let's yeah, I don't know why they've machined that out. I've never removed the driver from the back of this. It might have something to do with the manufacturing process. It might make it easier to access that. I don't know. Obviously making it lighter is not a bad thing. But the answer is I simply don't know. It has a security feature in here, I believe. Let's take a look at that. No, it just has a hole. Yeah, there's just a hole drilled here. I don't know what the purpose of that is either. It does not appear to have any threads, and there is no set screw inside of there either. Okay, let's switch to the screen view and let's take a closer look at all of the supporting information. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Here is the item that we are looking at. Let's take a look first at some photographs that we have. There's the label, 3902, large format with a standard cam, 1.5 inch diameter, US26D Satin Chrome. There's your cylinder. Figure 8, sometimes we call that. That's a telltale sign that you're dealing with most likely interchangeable core. Just a profile, threads, that standard cam on the back. A standard cam would be used when you're using this on some auxiliary piece of hardware, like maybe a key switch, or maybe panic device trim, or maybe an old mortise lock. They'll use, or what's also known as a Yale cam. They generally look like this. That's the Adams Wright cam that's also in there, or the MS cam. Adams Wright has 3 different cams. This shape here is by far the absolute most common, but they do have 2 others that look like a standard cam. One is just simply shorter than the other, and each of those other 2 are used for a specific lock. And you can look in the Adams Wright catalog for that information. Shipped with standard cam and the Adams Wright cam loose. Cores sold separately. They said that a 1/4 inch blocking ring is included. This does not include a blocking ring. So there is no blocking ring inside of this box. I don't know if that's a typo or if it's an omission, but nonetheless it would be just a cylinder collar that would look like... Actually, it would be almost exactly this. It would be... Well, wrong base material, but it would look like this. Machined from solid brass, available in a variety of different finishes. Let's take a look at those other finishes now. Satin bronze, oil rub bronze, polished chrome, satin chrome, polished brass, satin brass. Appears to be all of the different finishes available. It is 1.5 in length. There's a video down below discussing Hager lock cylinders and keying. There is an entire platform that Hager has of their own keying system, so you might want to review that video. There's also, well, I'll show you that in a moment. There's a companion document to it. Template that's probably a technical drawing. Yeah, sure, there it is. There is no spacer in here. I don't know why you would need one for this. Well, this is for a small format core, is why you would use one. Those screws are in a different place because they will avoid the sidebar locking mechanism in a traditional small format cylinder. So this is a representative document, just not the 3902 we are looking at. This is for small format. There is also a cut sheet. Okay. Just another variation on what we're looking at. Again, this is not the right item. This is a small format version. Hager does not necessarily have everything published. There's a product catalog. Let's Control F or find function for 3902. Well, that didn't work. So let's scroll through. 3902 is apparently a part number they will use for different platforms of housings. So here was a conventional mortise cylinder 3902. Here is a small format 3902. A large format 3902 is right here. So, I would prefer there to be different part numbers to signify or define what the keying system was. But this document will allow you, in specifically this page, the page 80, or the 8th page of this document, show you the different cams. This client did have to pick up the 2-639-7572. For use with Hager mortise locks, I would not have guessed that Hager would use a Schlage beaver tail or an L cam, but apparently they do. So this client's now most likely putting Schlage full-size interchangeable cores into Hager locks. Not uncommon, you'll do a project where they will have locks from manufacturer A and cylinders from manufacturer B, and that's because, let's say that it's a housing authority or a college or a hospital, and there are construction projects that go over a period of years and decades. Well, they're using Schlage keyways because that's what they did in the 1960s, and that's what they're still using. So they're going to want to preserve decades of a legacy installed keying system. And it is, in fact, very typical that you can crossbreed these locks with cylinder platforms, whether it be Sargent or Yale or Corbin Russwin or Medico, and obviously Schlage and every other clone of every other lock. You can generally find parts to force hybrid those together. So if you want a Medico keying system and you want Schlage locks or Hager locks, you can do that, and vice versa. Well, you won't get Medico mortise locks. Anyway, you see the point. There is a link below this video as seen here to the manufacturer's page, and when we click on that, it will pull up indeed the manufacturer's page within our site, where you can pull up not only all of the Hager items we sell by means of this horizontal navigation here, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the most current product catalog there. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. In conclusion, if you have any questions on the Hager 3902 large format mortise cylinder housing or any other Hager product, please reach out to us. Now, the length of 1.5 is required basically because how long the cylinder is that you're sticking into the housing. You'll very commonly see these cylinders installed in lots of different applications. And blocking rings are going to be very typical. I don't know if one that's 1/4 inch is appropriate. I would be tempted to say that it's not appropriate. You might need something longer. Depends on the application. If it happens to be maybe an automatic sliding doors or aluminum storefront, that blocking ring is going to be too thin. So you might need to look at, some other types of blocking rings. But the point of the matter is, unless you have a door that's about 3 1/8 of an inch thick, you're centering the lock right in the center of the door, you will need a blocking ring. So put some thought into that, and be mindful. It's the underside of the head to the back of the cam. And generally what I like to do is take the door thickness, and if I'm centering the lock in the door, which isn't always the case, but usually is, I'll take the door thickness and I'll deduct 1/8 of an inch, maybe a 1/16. And I'll divide that in 2, and then that will give me the dimension from basically the back of the cam to the underside of the head. So I know my cylinder length, and then the difference, of course, is your trim ring. That generally works quite well for me. So there you go. The name Hager is synonymous with commercial building products and has since the mid-19th century. Yes, the mid-19th century. On our manufacturer's page, there's a catalog that is from 1915. So if you wanted to see what Hager was producing over 100 years ago, that would be the document to look at. Any questions on the 3902 or any other Hager product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you very much.
Do you know what's worse than getting sick from a coworker? It's not participating in Architectural Builders Supply March 10,000 YouTube subscriber giveaway.
Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.